So we are now streaming. We're going to get going in about 15 seconds. So get ready, folks. We're about to get started.
Get my mail out of the way.
And here we go. Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt here with life coach Linda Armstrong. Today is Friday. Happy Friday, May 17, 2019. It is 4 p.m. in New York, 1 p.m. in Los Angeles, 9 p.m. in London, and 6 a.m. in Sydney, Australia. Good morning, Sydney. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And Linda, I have to say, I'm happy that the week is coming to a close. Not that it's been a bad week. I'm not suggesting that it has been. It's been a good week. But there are just sometimes you just need a break. That's what the end of the week is for, right? Just to kind of slow down, detox, get rid of the not so good energies that you picked up along the way and just kind of throw them by the wayside and just relax. And I'm looking forward to that. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah. How are you doing? How's your week been?
Good. I kind of, when those moments come up, that chill, I just allow it whenever it wants to come up.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
It's not just on the weekend, like I had a day like that the other day and energy was kind of low and I'm like, and my son's funny. He's like, Mom, I give you permission to do nothing. Okay.
I love it. Good son. Very good son.
I'm like, all right, thank you. Cause I really needed that. Cause I wasn't letting myself do it myself.
That's great. That's fabulous. Yeah. That's really good. That's a son who, among other things, appreciates not just you, which is also very important and a lot, but what you do and understands, the nature of what you do with energy and, how your life goes and so forth. That's really a great understanding right there.
Yeah. My son knows everything that I do. And in fact, he's learning himself and he's probably way more advanced than I am.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems impossible.
He's just stepping into it now for himself, and which is cool.
Yeah.
And, discovering the things that he can just do like this. I'm like, but it took me years to do that.
Well, that's true. I mean, Joel Elston and I talk a lot about how the young really just when you present concepts like these to them and practices and so forth, they just snap right to it. Yeah. I mean, they react so quickly. And my theory about it is that they just haven't lived long enough to accumulate the garbage and trash we accumulate over the years. So they have a lot less to unlearn. But then again, they're also, in a sense, they're closer to source energy because they were there more recently. So maybe the connection is clearer when you're young. I don't really know.
You know what? It's both of those things, I would say. My son's 27.
Oh, he is?
He's not a little kid anymore,
Yeah.
But he's always had that ability. And, kids are just, and especially as we evolve, they're coming in hardwired already with this stuff. They know it.
True.
They don't have to learn it,
Yeah.
Like we knew it, forgot it. They know it and own it.
That's cool.
I've
thought a lot about that lately. What it would be like if we hadn't forgotten it. And I don't even know that I don't remember forgetting it, to be honest. I mean, I kind of have this sense that there was something there when I was really, really young by, like less than a year old, that kind of thing. But beyond that, it's just kind of like a vague sort of a sense feeling like a ghost in the back of the head. But how cool would it have been if you and I had actually been able to retain that all these years, and the fact that the current generation is able to do that. I mean, to me, that's a big advance. That's a big breakthrough.
Well, I think a big part of that too is that more and more people are awakening and understanding this, so they're not squashing their kids.
Yes.
Right? Because they understand this. They when their kid is talking to some imaginary person, they know they're talking to spirit. Maybe they're talking to a grandmother. Who knows who they're talking to?
That's true.
Right? Yeah. Or they're angels. They can see them or they can talk to them,
Mm-hmm.
I've never squashed my son in that way. I attribute that to my sister-in-law teaching me these things about kids because she's an educator.
Mm-hmm.
She does things in her own way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all based on this little being is a being. It's not a lump of flesh.
Right.
Right. they know what it's all about, and it's a matter of just really encouraging them to be who they are without putting our crap on them, right? So she's
Mm,
that, 28 years ago, I learned that from her with
that's
my son.
cool.
So I've never squashed my son. I've always known that he'll find his own way,
That's
and that
great.
he's got a plan.
Yeah.
So like when
Yeah.
he tells me stuff like, yeah, well, I can see like blue light glowing around my hands. I'm like, yeah, cool.
Now I'm jealous.
Yeah. Like I don't see the blue light.
Yeah. How come I don't get to see that, right? That's fabulous. Yeah. I love the fact that you felt confident enough to give them that freedom to say, you know what, I don't necessarily know what direction you need to go in, but you know that, and I trust that you know that, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
That's a very advanced position, particularly for parents these days. I can
Yeah.
remember back, I mean, you mentioned imaginary friends. I can remember when I was a kid hearing parents and adults talk about imaginary friends and doing so in a soft voice, like there was something wrong with them. Like,
Right.
this was just not this was a bad thing. This is the kind of thing that could get you sent to the loony bin. It's
Yeah.
not, this is not a healthy thing at all. Now, wow, what a switch. It's
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm
And
glad of it.
and it makes you think how many of those people in the loony bin are basically just more switched on than we are, and can
Oh
hear
yeah.
more and know more and see more and jump into other dimensions. But
Mm.
yet those who are here who don't understand it would, call them crazy.
Hmm. There was a wonderful movie. You may have seen this many, many years ago. I would date it probably in the 70s, maybe early 80s, something like that. It was in French, dubbed in English, called Le Roi de Coeur, or The King of Hearts. And The King of Hearts was the story of a loony bin, an insane asylum, I believe in France or Italy, I can't remember which, during World War II. And at one point, there's a battle coming through the town, and the townspeople are all driven out, and the battle leaves the town, and the doors to the insane asylum are unlocked as a result. I don't remember exactly how. So the inmates come out and they start inhabiting the town like they're the inhabitants of the town. And they have all these strange, interesting quirks. They dress in these very festive ways, and they're affecting all these behaviors like they're, I don't know, English gentry or something like that.
Mhm.
And there is a soldier who comes into the asylum. He has been separated from his unit, and you can tell he's kind of shell shocked. He's dealing with some pretty severe trauma associated with the war, and he comes into the asylum before they all go out into the street, and they're all behaving the way they normally behave, which is actually fairly normal, except that they are kind of like actors. They adopt roles, and their roles are all surrounding playing cards. So there's the Queen of Diamonds, and there's the Jack of Spades, and then they ask, well, who are you? And he says, well, I'm the King of Hearts. They said, the king is here. Long live the king. And they turn him into the King of Hearts, and they dress him up and so forth. And then they go out in the street, and they do all this stuff out there. And then you hear the sounds of the war approaching the town again. And all of the inmates gather together and very carefully walk back into the asylum. And the message you get out of it is the crazy people are out there. The people inside the insane asylum, they're the sane ones.
Yeah.
Really cool message that comes out of that movie. Most people haven't seen it, but I love that movie. That was great.
That's
It reminds me what you're
interesting.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this isn't just Linda and I talking. This is also a Q&A, and I do see people coming to join us on the live stream. So if you have questions for us to address, we'd love to address them. Type them into the comments section on the YouTube page. If you have comments that you want to share, we'll be glad to include those as well. And until you decide you want to kick in with stuff like that, we'll just keep on talking about whatever comes to our mind about law of attraction, being deliberate creators, us as spirit, us as source energy. And I see Linda's already going for her card deck. I know what's coming when the card deck comes out.
Yeah, I figured why don't we just, choose a card and see what it's talking about, and maybe we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Also, like I just before coming on here was creating a video, which hopefully I'll edit and maybe post it later on tonight.
Okay.
And that was what struck me to talk about today was that what was it? It's like it's almost like what our superpower is, the ability to be right here, right now, and love everyone and everything.
That's a very good one too.
Yeah, because when you can be in that energy of love in every moment, everything just happens. All that's supposed to unfold for you on your path will just be there. Without that ego mind getting in the way and dictating to you all this fear, doubt, worry, and stuff, which you can also project into the future, right? But right here, right now, God, everything's perfect. How about you? Well, right here, right now, in this moment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels good. I mean, like you say, it's like if you just trust it, it all comes true. That's the Abraham concept of letting go of the oars. And that so often we don't let go of the oars, and we keep trying to row upstream, thinking that we have to work hard and fight to get up that stream because that's where all of our dreams are, not realizing that if we let go, the boat would turn around, we float downstream and find that's where all the dreams are actually waiting for us.
Right. And it's also just basically surrendering to spirit. I mean, you've got a team of spirit working with you. So actually in this video, I challenge, or I suggest that you put yourself in night school. So that's what I like to do. I put myself in night school. So I just mentioned that, and have your team in spirit download you with whatever it is you need to learn to, number one, to be able to hold yourself in that energy of love at any moment, at any time. Because really that's the energy that can flip you from a low vibe to a high vibe. I talk about that course that I created. That's all it's about. You can choose to be in that low vibe, or you can choose to move out of it. And there's so many things you can do to move out of it. But it's the choice that matters. And we talk about that every now and then. Like, so we're the master computer, right? And what I do is I delete the programs and the things that don't support people, right? And then we put in new programs. It's the same thing. You just do it for yourself.
Now, do you have some sort of process you follow at night? Because you call it night school, so I presume this is you prepare yourself as you're going to sleep, I would think.
See the light. That's got to be good.
Yeah, that's got to be good. But I mean, is that what you do? Do you do a preparation each night, or what do you do?
Night school. I'm like, all right, spirit, whatever it is that's next for me on my path, show me while I'm asleep. Teach me what it is I need to know that will empower me to be who I came here to be. Whatever it is, I just ask.
So you aren't even, I mean, that's truly letting go of the oars. You aren't even asking for anything specific. You're just saying, tell me what I need to know next.
That's how I do it.
Yeah. That's how I do it. That's a good approach. I like that.
So with the video, I was saying, have them show you, teach you, download for you, how to live in this energy of love at any moment, at any time, right? So that everything you want can manifest.
That's very good.
That's
I like that.
The whole thing with the third dimension and fifth dimension. Third dimension is where it's where we presently are, right?
Right.
Actually, some of us just pop in and out of third and fifth. I noticed.
I've heard about that. I've never. What does that mean to say we pop in and out? What is that?
So I know I'm popping out of third and fifth when, and for me, it's like when I'm sucked into the what I perceive as the here and now problems, right? Or things that aren't working out, or in the fear and the doubt, and what if this and what if that, and I better do this and I need to do this and all that stuff. That's like 3D. Because fifth dimension, it's just there. Manifesting is just normal. It's our true nature. We're just in that energy, that high vibration of love. And so, we talk about that, how everything is moving in, shifting into a higher vibration, where some things seem like that may have happened. You don't even remember it happening because you're no longer vibrating to where you were back then when those things were taking place, right?
Right.
So the way I feel is that there are times when I just feel like, oh my God, everything's perfect. This is great. This is awesome. Look, Spirit just sent me that. And Spirit just sent me that. Like things are just falling into place. I'm like, oh, shoot. I might say, oh, shit. I'm in 5D right now. Yeah. So, why not? Why can't we just pop in and out? Because it already exists, right? We're just transforming from one dimension.
It makes sense. Yeah.
From one vibrational frequency to another, right? So.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah. I mean, I think what we're really talking about here is, are we willing to give up on the idea that there's only a three-dimensional world and relax to the fact that there's more to life than what we see in the 3 dimensions, that's the basic idea of being a deliberate creator, letting go of physical reality is reality. That's all there is. And there's nothing more beyond that. And it takes a little practice to get used to it.
And so you pretty much kind of just described the whole awakening.
Yeah, pretty much. In about 3 sentences.
Right? It's shifting from one way of being to another, from acknowledging, from realizing, from waking up to that there's more and that I am more. And what feels better when I'm in these higher vibrations or when I'm in these lower vibrations? I mean, you think that would be obvious, right? But there are many people who are very comfortable being in their lower vibration.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Or they would lift themselves out, or they would get help, or they would get a coach or a healer to help them move out through that, you know?
Well, you can tell that just by going through, social media and watching what people write about and how they write the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's pretty, and anytime somebody says, well, you could do this, they resist it, it's pretty clear they want to stay in the low vibration. And
well, they don't really want to, but they don't know they have the power to move out of it. Right? That they don't even know it could be easy to move out of it because it's so comfortable. Mm-hmm. People like to stay where they're comfortable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Moving to something new, sometimes they just don't want to do that.
Very, very, very true. Yeah.
Okay, so this card is...
Oh, by the way, before you get to the card, I'm starting a new thing now because I have a tendency, this is me, I have a tendency at the end of the show to forget to do the announcements. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do the announcements at 20 minutes past the hour. So I always get them in. And that way I'll never forget them at the end of the show. So
all right, cool.
Just want to get them in now. First of all, if you're not yet a subscriber to the podcast, please become one. It's very simple to do. Just go to the homepage of our website, loatoday.net. And whatever device you have, it will detect it automatically and give you the guidance of what you have to do to become a subscriber. If you're on a smartphone, it's really easy. You just click the icon and it just walks you through the steps. And within seconds, you are a subscriber to the podcast. And that means that all of the episodes come automatically to your phone every single time that we publish one. And of course, once you're a subscriber and you're listening to the podcast, or even better, watching the live stream or listening to the recorded stream on YouTube, then share the fact that you're doing it. Tell other people about it, because that's how everybody else gets their daily dose of happy. And speaking of YouTube, we also want to encourage you to become a subscriber on YouTube as well, especially if you're listening to the live stream. It's, again, very simple. Just click the subscribe button. And then if you're using a smartphone especially, don't forget to click that little bell icon next to the subscribe button, because that's how you get notified every time that we're going live. So click the little bell character, and that way you'll know whenever we're live. You'll be, if you're online at the time, you'll say, oh, yep, they're live. We can go check out a little LOA today. So those are the main messages. And then there's a special little message that I want to put out there that I've been putting out since yesterday. Because Linda, the script that Alex and I have been working on, we finished the script, and we are now at the point where we're casting for this new audio play that we're creating, called "The Grass Is Greener." So if any of our listeners have kind of had a wish that, well, geez, I'd love to get involved, maybe as an actor or something like that, you are welcome to join in. So if you want to do that, this is really simple. You just make a 20-second selfie video. Use your smartphone, just make a selfie video of yourself, and just talk to us about, what it is that you're, why it is that you want to be an actor, why it is that you want to be a part of the production. And basically you're trying to show us, what you can do, how you're going to sound when you're part of it. So just make that 20-second video and then send it to casting@loatoday.net. And that will come to me, and I will include you in the list. And I will share your recording with Alex and with PJ, my sister, who's also going to be our director. And we will be in contact with those who say, yes, we want you to be on the show. So feel free to send those recordings in. And with that, Linda, I will pass it back to you, and you can tell us about the card that you drew, which was a pretty cool looking card.
Okay, but you know what I was doing just now? Hold on, let me see if I did it right. I forgot that I can go to YouTube and I can see what's coming through as well.
That's true, yeah.
But we might, I don't know if I'm on a lag or not, because what I'm seeing doesn't look live.
Actually, yeah, I'm seeing an error. That's interesting. Let me try a refresh.
Oh, you can see me?
Yes, yeah, I can see you. Now, there is a lag. There's about a 15-20 second delay between what you and I say and when it shows up on the YouTube. So you may be seeing that particular delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I'm going to move our screen a little bit over so I can actually see some chat stuff as it comes through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And I see that Jeffrey, Nasha, and Suraj have all said hello. So hello, guys. Thank you very much for coming by.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I see what you see.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So anyway, see the light. Oh my God, how I love that. And it's number 33. So that's always a good number, right? Angel
Okay.
number. Okay, so let's see what it says. Says the great illusion of the ego that sees itself as less than or better than others. Oh, see, this is it. This is what we're talking about, right?
Exactly.
Dropping that.
Yeah.
It says, let me start again. The great illusion of the ego is that it sees itself as less than or better than others. This creates a false sense of separation and isolation, cutting you off from the divine flow of life. The spirit within knows we're all of the same source and honors self and others equally. The ancients called the false sense of ego separation. They called it stink eye.
Okay.
The sad affliction of not seeing the shared beauty of spirit in all. So it goes on to say, where in your life are you suffering from stink eye? Where do you feel less than or better than those around you? Where are you feeling inadequate or superior? Where do you feel jealous or indifferent? Where are you feeling angry or insecure? The false perception is robbing you of your right to inner peace, and it cuts you off from source. This is so perfect because this speaks to everything that we've just been talking about, right? When you're in
Exactly.
your heart and you're living 5D, you're not stuck in that old ego space.
Right.
So it says someone in your life reflects an aspect, I'm sorry, everyone in your life reflects an aspect of yourself. Where am I? Okay, if you're feeling inferior, you're not accepting your own strengths and gifts properly. If you're feeling superior, you're dishonoring the divinity in others. Yeah, that's pretty cool point they're making right there.
No kidding.
In either case, you suffer. Each person in your life mirrors you back to yourself. So true. The outer reflects the inner. You cannot get away from it. You can try to deny it, but it's always going to be there.
That's right.
If you feel less than another, you aren't properly valuing your endowments and beauty. If you're feeling superior, you're depriving yourself of the gifts of another. To clear the stink eye, look for the common elements you share with those from whom you feel separate. See both the human and the divine in yourself as well as in others. We all have challenges and weaknesses as well as divine light. Free yourself from stink eye by looking with the eye of spirit instead of the filters of the ego. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, it was really good. That you're right. That just totally nailed what we were talking about.
Yep.
I love the fact that it kind of emphasizes what happens. I mean, it gave two different examples, either when you're feeling inferior or you're feeling superior to somebody else, how it distorts your understanding about what you're really seeing, and what you're really seeing is just yourself reflected back to you. As you were saying that, I'm thinking to myself, well, I can think of a few instances in my own life just in the last couple of days where I experienced that. And I love the fact that I am becoming more and more aware of it so that I catch it quicker. So I like today I was noticing Louise and I were, she had a doctor's appointment. So obviously we were thinking about medical stuff after that. And I found myself kind of taking the general topic of what we talked about with the doctor and applying it to myself. Now we went there for Louise. I wasn't even there to go to the doctor. I was just accompanying her. But because we've been talking about this stuff, I found myself applying these same ideas that he was talking about to me, even though they didn't apply. And in the process of doing that, I was essentially setting myself up to attract stuff I didn't want because I thought I had to interact with this so-called real world based on this data that I'd received. Now, as I look at it and describe it the way I just said it to you, it seems ludicrous that I would draw that conclusion. But when you're in the middle of that, you don't think of it as being ludicrous. It just seems normal. That to me is fascinating.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
I mean, it's just amazing. And we do that all the time. Everybody. I mean, just look at most of the people you see in society, in your own life, or even in the news or in entertainment world, or whatever. Just look at people. You see people doing this all the time, and a lot of them aren't aware of it, but more and more are.
Yeah,
and that's the cool part.
And so when you see something that you feel could use a little more love, give it. You just send it. You
Mm-hmm.
send that energy. The more we send these higher vibrations out, the more of us do that at the same time, so the quicker everything happens, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very cool. Good stuff.
Very cool.
Oh,
So
did you see Jeffrey's comment? He says, "Yep, feeling inferior, although not comparing myself to anyone specific." But that's how that particular feeling is when you're kind of stuck in that place of comparing to somebody else, and you're not feeling good about yourself and all that.
you know what? I think that my YouTube, maybe because I came on it late, is behind.
Could be. That's possible.
Because I don't see the new one, and I was trying to watch for our hand motions, and
try a screen refresh. Sometimes that brings it up to date better. I don't know. I find that it often works for me that way. I can't say it always works.
All right, I'll try it.
Yeah.
If not next week I'll try to remember and be on there before. Okay, yeah, I see Jeffrey's thing now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe it's catching you up then. So that's good. So that was a cool card. Yeah, that was perfect. I mean, you didn't. Again, this was just a random draw, right? You didn't pull that one out. That was.
I think you saw me shuffling, didn't you?
Yeah. So
I'm
that's
shuffling
the way it usually
right now.
works.
I'm going to go for another card.
You're going to go for. Oh, you're pulling another card. Oh, okay.
Let's see what happens with that.
I'm good with that.
This one will just have a word. I may not even read whatever the card says. We'll just see what the word wants to tell us.
The word? What do you mean?
These cards, they just have like.
Oh, they have a word on them. I see.
They basically say whatever it's going to say, just in the words that it puts on it.
Okay, all right. So it's not necessarily like an oracle card. It's also a quick message.
There's a whole message that comes with it. But I'm saying this deck is kind of like this deck to just go with whatever we read off the card and not even look at the book.
Okay, all right, sure.
Unless we want to look at the book, then we'll do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, look. Okay. So I got count your blessings.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Exactly. That's how you, because that's how you get out of that, what do you call it? The ego space, where you're getting reflected back to you, all this judgment stuff that you're putting out.
This puts you right back in your soul space.
That's how you get back into it. Right.
Yeah. Count your blessings. And that's what I talked about on that video today, is like, find what, you could feel good and appreciate and love something right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just by having gratitude for anything. Like, I love all these crystals in my space. I've got a lot of windows in my room. I see all these green trees, and some flowers are still on some of the trees, and birds going by. I mean, there's always something to look at that will feel good. And I count those blessings. I mean, this is beautiful. I'm happy.
It reminds me of something that I saw a post on Facebook. I think it was from a young man. I can't remember for sure, but I think it was a young man. And he had posted something to the effect of he was really down and he needed cheering up and all that kind of thing. And so people were suggesting to him various things to do. And no, it can't work. I'm just so down. I'm so depressed. And so I gave him some suggestions. One of the suggestions I gave him was exactly that: count your blessings. And I started with basics for him. Like, okay, well, do you have any food? Okay, then be grateful for your food. Celebrate the fact that you have food. Do you have any clothing on your back? Oh, good. Well, then celebrate the clothing on your back. Right. Do you have a place to sleep? Okay, well, then celebrate the place to sleep. Start with all that stuff like that. Start at the very basic level. And that was the only one so far. And I haven't double checked in the last 30 minutes or so, but that was the only one so far that I saw that he didn't reject by saying, oh no, I'm too depressed. Because that's really basic level right there. That's just starting at okay, do I have the fundamentals to just live on? If I do, I have something to celebrate.
Right. And then when someone attempts to crack you open, like where you're making these suggestions, if he allows himself to crack and lets a little bit of light come in, well, then he could be on his journey, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And move away from needing to have random people on Facebook comfort you.
Right.
Or fuel you so you can be even more perturbed or in that lower energy. Because, there's a lot of people that want to do that, right? That are just like,
oh, yeah.
Psychic vampires that want to see the energy. It's a real thing.
Yeah. No, I'm laughing at it because I recognize that behavior pattern. I've seen it a lot. Yeah.
Psychic vampires.
What's cool, though, is is, especially over time, you get to see some people. I mean, some people just kind of float in and out, and then they disappear. You never really see them. But you also see other names over and over again as they post or comment or so forth. And it's fun. In many cases, you actually get to see, if you kind of pay attention, you get to see the growth of the person. You get to see how they move out of that darker space into the lighter space, and you see it in their commentary. You can almost hear the attitude and the way they write things. Often they'll say things very bluntly, like, "Wow, I'm feeling so much better," and so forth. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. I remember when I first really learned about psychic vampires. I think I kind of had an idea, but I had this interaction with this one person, and I was trying to help that person, but wound up like in an argument. I'm like, and I'm on the phone. I'm like, where did this even come from?
Yeah.
And then I told this friend of mine about this whole thing, and she's like, "Oh, well, he's a psychic vampire. He's feeding off of your energy." Well, wouldn't you know it, that same guy later on called me to apologize.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he had some problems. He's an addict and different things, right? But he said to me, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is, but I get fueled. Like, that fueled me up. That whole argument we had. It's like it's like I'm taking your energy. I'm like, yeah, you're a psychic vampire.
But that's so cool, though. That's great that he was willing to acknowledge and recognize it. Not many people are going to do that.
Yeah, I didn't tell him he's a psychic vampire. Just
no.
But yeah, he was telling me back exactly what this friend of mine, she's a psychic medium, was telling me. And then I'm like, wow. And then the universe is like, yeah, see, this is exactly right. And
And that's a fairly well-known concept. I mean, my wife, as you know, was a psychotherapist for 10 years, and she calls that energy stealers. And it's really the same thing. You're just stealing someone else's energy because you don't know how to access your own.
Yeah.
That's really what the problem is.
Yeah.
And what apparently you made enough progress with the guy on some level that he was able to recognize that.
Yeah.
Which is, that's fabulous.
Yeah. Well, this guy has a really big heart, but he just had problems. And so, hopefully people like that, when you will, like I'm saying, crack the egg, the light comes in, hopefully they can take that off and let it grow. You can't let that light out again. So it's kind of there. You just hope that his soul will allow it to expand. That's all you can do, right? Can't create for other people.
Nope.
System.
And apparently it did. That's why I like, though. I like celebrating when people do have that breakthrough, because that's a great breakthrough. That's a fabulous breakthrough that he had, where he realized, oh, geez, what am I doing? Yeah. That's really, really good.
So I thought I'd pull out. I haven't used this with you at all, I don't think. Archangel Mike. Raphael.
No, I don't recognize that one. But I wanted to acknowledge another comment from Jeffrey. He says, sometimes being down and depressed is an emotional state that means that it's time for shadow work, mirror work, or inner child work. And that's true.
It's time for all of it.
It's all of it. Yeah.
All of it. Yeah. It doesn't even need a label. And it's just it's time to work on yourself and allow yourself to learn how to bring that love in.
Right.
At least what's holding you back. Okay, so
what you got there?
Let's see what we're going to get from Archangel Raphael, who is the archangel that is known as the healer, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay, so look, relationship. All right. So let's see. Maybe this is going to speak to a few people out there. But so there's like a little prayer that will come with it, and it'll be on the card. And it says, this would be the prayer for what we're about to learn about this card. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for healing and guiding all of my relationships upon the path of love.
Very cool.
Gotta love that path of love.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what the whole card is talking about.
I feel like that card was also just addressing what we talked about the guy you had that conversation with one time. It sounds like it's directly addressing that situation.
Yeah. Well, let's see what it says. So it says, this card speaks of another person's influence upon the situation in question. Archangel Raphael helps you with all forms of healing, including emotional healing with relationships. He sends you this card to indicate that he's assisting you with relationship and health issues, especially when both are intertwined. Raphael can help you maintain clear and loving communication with other people, as well as resolve misunderstandings from the past. After all, the healing angel knows the health benefits of the heart that's filled with love, peace, and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
So it says possible specific meanings for the card could be ask for help from other people with the situation. A message about a romantic relationship is forthcoming. A new person will help you with the situation, whatever it is that's coming up for whoever's listening to this at this time, right? Trust your intuition about the relationship that you're asking about, and be willing to forgive the person in question. All right. So for whoever needed that, but yeah, it does kind of speak to what we were just talking about.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. Because I mean, literally, that's what the card was talking about, that letting go process of the guy you were talking with, who was the addict who was dealing with his stuff, and he let go. I don't know if he let go in every way, but he let go enough to recognize what he'd been doing, which is a big let go.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a reminder that letting go, I mean, it's great if we can let go of everything all at once, but most often letting go is something we do a little bit at a time. We let go, and then we let go a little bit more, and then we let go a little bit more, and then we let go a little bit more. And it's just like this ongoing process. Let it go a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, until finally you're not holding on to anything.
Right. And let's not forget to, as we let go, to let love in. You know?
And let love in, yes.
So, like whenever I'm releasing lower energies, always bringing in that high vibrational light and love to take its place. Yeah.
And there's really no trick to that, is there? It's just kind of being aware of it and recognizing that love's coming in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've shared before, I like to do in the shower, I do my heaven and earth energy cleansing, where I just imagine light coming in, like the shower water coming down through my whole body, and just clearing and washing away any lower energies. I also imagine the energy balancing and harmonizing my chakras. Mm-hmm. And then that's all going down the drain, right, into Mother Earth.
This is true.
And then the earth is going to transform that back to pure love, and then send up through my feet, up through my whole body, right? Dancing with all the chakras, with that heaven energy that just came through, this energizing, powerful earth energy that grounds you down. Like some people, when they get into spirituality, and they learn about chakras and things, they want to be in the high chakra, in the higher vibrations, because they feel like that makes them closer to spirit and more able to tune in and pick up information. Mm-hmm. But truly, the deeper you're rooted to the ground, and the really anchoring in those lower chakras and being strong and stable on this earth, the higher you can go. You have to have both. It's not all about just up here, because that can only go so far. You need to really ground in and allow this earth that we live on to fuel you, to take you even further.
So when we're talking about the low vibrations, I mean, typically we use the phrase low vibration to describe someone who's focusing on something they don't really want. But I don't think you're really using the phrase in quite the same way here, are you?
Say that again. I was reading the comment.
Oh, that's all right. I was just saying that typically when we talk about low vibration, we use that phrase in reference to focusing on something that we really don't want, that we don't like, that doesn't feel good to us. But when you're talking about lower vibrations, you're talking about it in a little bit different way, I think.
Anything that's not love.
Oh, okay.
Let's simplify
so not all that different.
Anything that's not love, right? Mm-hmm. Lower vibrations, no matter how they came about, whatever it is, it's just that lower energy. It's heavy, it's dense. We are light, right? Now we chose to come into this denser reality with these bodies for all the things that we're learning. We chose to come here at this time to be a part of this whole ascension, right? And this moving into the fifth dimension. All of that's good. Like we chose to have these experiences, but you don't want to get stuck in them, right? You want to be able to use them as fuel that actually allows you to come more into your truth, into that energy of love in your heart, right? And making that heart connection. But I was just I want to make it clear to people that, especially people who think they have to only be in these, third eye, crown chakra, I got to be tuned in. Like, you need all of it. It all works together. And really, you have to be grounded. Like, when you're not grounded, then you're too much kind of flighty in the higher areas. And like, things will come in and you're like, yeah, oh, that sounds so good. No, let me do this. Oh no, I gotta do, you're like, you can't really tune in and ground yourself to find your clear direction. It all works together.
It almost sounds like what you're talking about is accepting all aspects of who we are and not pushing away the parts that are, quote, undesirable, unquote, but
Right.
recognizing we are the sum of all of it. And that's a good thing. That's who we are.
Right. So just kind of like what Jeffrey was saying, doing shadow work. Yeah, you want to look at that stuff, and see it and learn what it's here for. Like anything I do when I'm helping people to release stuff is, especially things to do with regrets and resentment, rejection. We want to look at, acknowledge, well, what did it bring to you? What did it give you? How did you grow from that? Because when you can see that and be with that, it's someone, then you can actually you can release the lesson. You can release the person who maybe was having this effect on you from their obligation to teach you the lesson.
Okay.
Then you let it go. Release the obligation and release the lesson.
Yeah.
And then we can just download that pure love and light and unconditional love and forgiveness. And then it's done.
Okay. That's good. Fair enough. I like that.
Yeah. I think I'll choose now from the energy oracle. I've pulled out 5 decks. I didn't think I would actually go to all of them, but I don't know. It just seems to be working that way.
Apparently you had some reason to do that on at least a subconscious level, because you don't normally just draw stuff out and not use it. I found that every time that you reach for something, it's going to be used in some way in the podcast, whether you had an intention to do so or not.
Yeah. And like I sat down at the desk. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let me go get that other deck. Oh, no, wait a minute. Because I usually will bring up maybe 3 decks, but I put 5 out on my desk.
So what do we have this time?
Well, let's see. Oh, this is Energy Oracle.
Energy Oracle cards. Okay.
Yeah. I love this deck. It's one of those decks that if the card comes in reverse, it has a reverse message for you.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, and like some people, this is the deck that a group of the women who used to come to me would call the spooky deck.
The spooky deck? Okay.
Because they'd get the card in reverse and they're like, oh, no, I can't have it in reverse. But oh, look at that. Healer of all ages. Healer of all ages.
Nice photo.
So, but sometimes those messages, they're not bad messages. They're like the perfect message. And many times, sometimes they're pointing out something to be aware of that could be coming in or to look out for. But most of the time, they're just letting you know that you've released something, that something is in the past, and now you're moving towards something better. So, okay, number 51, Healer of all ages. And this is a great card.
Oh, I got to share a comment that Suraj shared. He says, love yourself, and then the whole universe will start loving you.
Of course.
It's a good thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we got this in the upright. So it says, this powerful being brings the force of ancient wisdom and profound healing. The light of divine consciousness pours from his hands and heart, flowing to you with love and powerful healing intention. This amazing entity is with you now, bringing resolution to physical, mental, and emotional ills, helping you to unblock stuck energy and revitalize your life force. You may have felt this strong presence recently, or you may just be opening to the wonderful sensations now. You can call upon this emissary of miraculous transformation whenever you need vitality, balance, or renewal. Know that at the deepest level, an important healing is taking place. You know what? There's an affirmation that comes with the card. I'm going to read it.
Okay.
It says, this powerful healing of eternal love is with me now and always. Divine consciousness fills every cell. I am whole, healthy, vital, and at peace. Yeah.
It occurs to me that when you have a card that's talking about healing, I know that those of us living here on the physical plane will tend to associate that with physical healing, but healing can take a variety of forms, can't it? I mean, it can be psychic healing, but it can also be healing of other aspects of our lives besides health. It could be relationship healing. It could be career healing. It could be entrepreneurship healing. It could be, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that could be healed. It doesn't have to be health related.
Yeah, no, it's any area that needs more love. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, we are multidimensional beings, right? And we want balance in all areas of our life. We don't want that imbalance where only one part of the life is going well and not the other.
No kidding.
So maybe this one's going great. Nothing needs to be healed here, but what's happening to these other areas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question from Jeffrey. He says, can we let go of too much until we wake up and find we have nothing or very little? Is this how the programs of the lack mindset are allowed to persist?
I have to read that again. Can we let go of too much until we wake up and find we have nothing or very little? What do you mean, nothing or very little to release?
Or nothing or very little left? Yeah, that's a little bit vague.
Yeah, is this how the programs of lack mindset are allowed to persist? I'm not sure I understand the question.
I think we need a little clarity there, Jeff. So give us an idea on that. Yeah. Until we wake up and find we have nothing or very little. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's a little multi-valued. That can mean a lot of things.
Well, let me say this part. So I don't even know what he meant, but we're only letting go of anything that is not love. So yes. You let go of everything that is not love. You are just love. What's left? Love, because we are love. We are light. So if we let go of anything that's not love, we are just so much more empowered to be our truth. And when we are that, well, everything goes well.
That's a good answer, because that can cover almost any of the possibilities he had in mind when he asked the question.
Yeah, so and I'll even say, and even for the second part of that, so what programs are left? The programs that really work for you.
Yeah, right.
Stuff,
Yeah.
We only want to get rid of the stuff that no longer serves us, because it probably did serve us in some way, or it wouldn't have happened in the first place, right? But we don't want to keep playing that story over and over again, bringing it from all of our ancestors, from all those lives before, and living it again, living it again, living it again. We want to be in that energy of love, releasing all of that stuff so that the future generations don't have to live it, right? That's why there's such an awakening going on. Like, we're really releasing so much of this old baggage and programs that really have no place anymore. They don't need to be.
So here's a question then, because a few moments ago, we were talking about embracing all of our energies, the low energies, the high energies, and everything in between. But here we are talking about how we want to release those things that are no longer serving us, which are usually low energy things. So what's the similarity and the difference between low energy that we want to release and low energy we want to hang on to?
No, you never want to hang on to the low energies.
Okay, well, we were talking about being connected to it, though.
We're embracing that. By embracing it, you're allowing it to leave.
Ah,
right?
Okay.
By embracing it and by loving it, all of its yuckiness, by loving every part of it, by acknowledging it, by seeing, that's mindfulness. When you look at it, it's been seen, it can just leave. I mean, with the gate work that I do, basically what we're doing, like when things come up in your body, right, and I have you look at that and be with it, we're looking at the energy. We don't even need to know exactly what it contains and what it means to let it go. We're just acknowledging it, loving it, and then it's like, okay, I can go now. Does that make it clear for you?
It makes it a lot more clear.
Yeah.
The only thing that's left in my mind is, okay, so we have these lower energies that contain this information that we have embraced and we've released. Are there still lower energies left? And I think the answer is probably yes, but what are those? Are those just more to be released? What is that?
It's just more lessons, more things that you've been carrying around. So the thing is, that's why you want to be good at, I talk about the vibometer.
Yes.
You want to be good at knowing how you're vibrating, because when those lower vibrations come in, you can look at what it is, how it served you. Did I learn the lesson? Because if you didn't learn the lesson, it's just going to keep coming back.
Yeah, that's the annoying part.
Yeah. So that's why you might release something. I mean, a lot of times I'm like, God, I thought I cleared everything I could find on that, like for myself, right?
Right.
A lot of work on that one. Why is that still around here? What is it I haven't seen yet? And then I'll tune in. I'm like, okay, show me, send me, let me know. What is it I haven't, what is it I'm not getting yet? So I can release this once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, if we wanted to summarize an ultimate question, one of the ultimate questions is, what's the purpose of life, or what's the meaning of life? One way to answer that question, I guess, is to embrace as much of the lower energy vibrations as we can, so we can release them, and just keep releasing.
I like to look at it as growing and expanding.
Okay.
So you grow and expand through learning the lessons and releasing them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you can step into something else, like maybe what your purpose is and how to actually fulfill it. We get rid of all those programs that stop you from actually being in it. And then you can just step onto that road and live it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be living your purpose through this high vibration of love and this connection to spirit, where you're just inspired. These great inspirations come that help more and more people, because really it's all about helping people, helping each other grow and expand, at least in my mind. But look, a card fell out of the deck while I was shuffling, and it's hope.
Hope. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful image. Nice there. Card. Holding a glow in the hands there.
Yeah. So let's see what they want to say about hope. I think it probably is a perfect way to end this all of this conversation. All right. So it says this is a card that focuses on the qualities of hope, faith, healing, aspiration, success, and finally, enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There's the answer to what are we here for? What's
right.
The ultimate goal, right?
Yep.
When this card appears, know that a special wish you've made may be fulfilled in time. The hope card will help show you that the impossible can indeed become the possible. The force that works through your soul, determining what's possible and the difference between success over failure, and above all, who we are, is the power of your belief. This card serves as a reminder to use your natural ability of intuition, the language of the soul, as you reach for your goals and desires. The future can be yours when you have hope and trust in everything that you do. Soon others will be attracted and drawn to your inner light. Learn to share your experience and lessons for those around you will also realize that by having faith and pushing forward where one may have felt no hope at all is the key to success, right? So it's expanding and growing, always through this energy of love. Above all, maintaining a possible attitude starting right now, this very minute right now, will allow your soul to soar. You'll discover an opportunity to shine as you reach for the stars. So that feels like full circle, because what I started out talking about was the video that I shot today was about how, living right here, right now from this energy of love is pretty much the key to having all that you want in life, to living a life that you love.
And I know we've talked about enlightenment before, but as you were using the word there and discussing it, one thing occurred to me for many, many years, back to when I was really quite young, I can recall, all kinds of discussion about enlightenment. I mean, in history, there's the age of enlightenment. Enlightenment is a concept that has been used over and over again by many, many people in many different contexts. But it's only in the most recent years that I have become aware of the idea of enlightenment, of actually literally lightning, turning into light, becoming light.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was ever aware of that when I was younger. So I don't know if that's just me in my growth, and it was always part of the concept or not. But I'm now aware of, wow, enlightenment really means you get light.
Well, I mean, it's probably a couple of things. One, you have more of an awareness and a desire to know what that means for you.
Yes.
And two, you were just listening to what other people had to say about it.
True. Yeah. Right? Well, I mean, when you're young, you often do that. You just kind of, what do the big people have to say? What are they trying to tell me, right?
Until you decide, or you realize somehow for yourself, enlightened, light. We are light. We are light, and we're light. You let it build for yourself as to what it means to you.
Yeah.
And that's really what matters.
It is what matters. Yeah. I'm just kind of sitting here noticing I've been talking about enlightenment in various contexts here on the podcast, most of it, and understanding that there is a direct correlation between enlightenment and light. But for some reason, it was just kind of gelling right now, and I don't know why, but
See?
it just kind of did.
You know what? You don't have to know how.
Mm.
And I love that. So you just received a download of some sort that you cannot describe, explain, and
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
perfect. So as we're having this discussion and you have your team in spirit, they're like, yeah, here's the opportunity. Drop it right in there.
Right, right.
Yeah. I mean, that's like when I know I've told you before, like I'll feel things when they download sometimes. I don't know really what's coming in. I just know I had some kind of something come to me.
Okay.
And it'll just play itself out later. And I felt it in many ways. And even in like a mini earthquake, like the ground moving. And I'm like, and my husband knows what I do. He does this kind of stuff too. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
God, did you feel that? That was a good ground move. He goes, nah, I didn't get that one. I didn't feel it.
Well, you just have to ask your son. Apparently, he's the one who's the most connected.
Yeah,
So just ask
if
him.
he was there, he would have been like, yeah, Mom, that was cool. Yeah.
That's great. Excellent. Jeffrey gave us a little filling in the blank about what it was he was talking about. He says, sorry about the vagueness. I currently am feeling drained because I've been letting go of so much.
Yeah. So you know what, Jeffrey? Watch some people talking about this moon that we're in that's coming through right now, because there's a lot of people out there who channel and all that, talking about how you may be feeling really drained right now. I had a few days where I was really tired. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And you know what? It was my son. He goes, I was just listening to, I don't know which station, which YouTuber it was. He goes, and they were talking about, because he's been feeling that too. How it's really, with this new shifting going on, that a lot of us are really, really it's all about letting go of these old programs. And while it's happening, you can feel drained. So you just want to love yourself in your drained energy, right? Look at it, because the more you love it and look at it, the easier it is for it to leave. So good job. It's like, all right, fine. That's why my son gave me permission the other day. I told you that. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I said to him, I just feel like laying in bed and watching Sneaky Pete all day. And he goes, I give you permission to watch Sneaky Pete all day. Because if you can only start with one, just go and watch one right now. I give you permission. Because that sometimes I feel like I need permission to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, given the way we were all raised up, we were raised to believe that you have to work hard in this life. You have to struggle. You have to strive. You have to. It's all such a difficult thing, and you're supposed to work a 40-hour or more week, and you're supposed to raise your family, and you're supposed to put everybody through school, and that. I mean, it's just like this endless.
And you cannot struggle. Be lazy. Not
and
allowed.
You can't be lazy. Oh no, not allowed. So yeah, that's what our generation has been unlearning is just letting go of all that stuff. But yeah, that's
Jeffrey says, thanks. I missed the memo. I just saw last night. It was about suppression and exhaustion.
and actually, as you were talking about that, I realized there were times this week when I was feeling kind of drained, and I recall pretty clearly thinking, well, that just means I'm not focusing on what I actually claim for my own. I'm focusing on the stuff that I really have no interest in. I just got to shift my emotions around. What I didn't realize at the time, there was more to it than that going on. But that's what I was thinking.
But I want to say this too, because I did my May energy update, and it was all about the time is now. Mm-hmm. Like this is a month where a lot of things are able to manifest, right?
Okay.
This is really a month of stepping into your power, of stepping into what you came here to do. The time is now. Mm-hmm. And which is perfect, because especially with this moon, we're releasing stuff that would actually keep us from doing that, so you want to kind of be with that. But I just wanted to make sure that I mention that again. Why? There was another reason for that. I don't know. I lost it. But the good thing is, just know this is your time right now to really start manifesting things. So be easy with yourself. Let yourself go through the things that you feel maybe are like contrary to you actually stepping into your truth. They're just part of it. They're making more space for more of that light to be in, so you can actually really let out your truth and do what you came here to do.
Well, that's a beautiful way to finish up the hour. I think that's the perfect summary right there. So thank you for that. Before we part company, though, I want you to remind people how they reach out to Linda Armstrong, the Energy and Life Coach.
Go to my website, lovemylife.coach. A lot of good stuff on there. And you know what? Visit my Lightwave Healing page. It's like these little patches. I have one on the back of my neck right now that work through light to heal within your body. I'm getting more and more people having such great results with these patches. And you can learn about it there. Maybe you want to do, because I feel like I'm including that with what I do now, because it doesn't cost a whole lot of money and you feel really good. And when you're in that higher vibration, it's so much easier to tackle the things that come up for you and to actually really move forward, you know, with less pain in your body or whatever it is that's been kind of hindering you. These patches are like little miracle workers.
Very cool. Well, yeah. Hey, anything that makes you feel better is going to be helpful, because anytime you're feeling better, you're just going to be able to do more. You're going to focus better on what you want. You're just going to be in a better place. So yeah. Hey, that's great.
I wasn't going to mention that on the show, but I just had to mention that because I'm seeing such good stuff coming from it. So
that's great.
Yeah. Check it out.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you very much, Linda. And I look forward to speaking with you again a week from today. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week. Thank you to our live stream listeners as well. And thank you to our podcast listeners, because without you, we wouldn't have a podcast. And boy, does it make it so much fun to have a good audience to talk to every single day during the Monday through Friday work week. Boy, I must be tired. My tongue just kind of shut down for the day. So we'll leave it at that. We'll say thank you very much, and we'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, good. I get to hear the music today.
All right. We turn off the stream.